So today's question is, hi Dr. Paul, I know you deal with luxury brands and I've been watching you for ages, but only plucked up the courage to ask you this question now because I'm scared of your answer. I think I have an addiction to luxury brands. I can't stop buying them, I'm in debt, it's ruining my life, and I don't know how to stop. Even my best friends have told me I need to get help. Is it possible to be addicted to luxury brands? It is possible to be addicted to luxury brands, of course, because as luxury brands become more accessible, like anything else, you can absolutely become addicted to them. There has been research on this, and research does suggest that purchasing luxury items can be a form of addiction if it gets out of hand, albeit it's more socially acceptable than substance abuse or alcoholism, for example, but it's an addiction nonetheless. I mean, according to one study in 2016, I think it was, luxury brand addicts displayed symptoms that were very similar to other addictions, such as compulsive buying or alcohol addiction and gambling. And often people would find themselves stuck in a cycle of buying, euphoria, then guilt and regret. So to stop the guilt and regret, they would then buy again to feel the euphoria. But then the euphoria would wear off and guilt and regret would kick in, and the cycle continues. So luxury brand addicts, like any other addict, but luxury brand addicts in particular, are very prone to impulse purchases and they have very huge difficulty controlling their spending. And so they experience more guilt and more regret after the impulse buy. Now, not to mention, most people with a luxury brand addiction aren't usually wealthy, so they get themselves into tremendous amounts of credit card debt, which of course compounds the guilt and the worry and the stress because you have debt collectors knocking on the door, you're getting these letters, you're getting these phone calls. So, yeah, it can be incredibly stressful. Uh, what are the symptoms? Well, the most common symptoms are compulsive buying. So, this tends to be comorbid with a luxury addiction. Then there's also impulse buying, huge difficulty controlling spending, and debt blindness. Now, by debt blindness, I mean that you ignore the mounting debt. You just shut it out as if it doesn't exist. So credit card bills lie in drawers unopened. You bury your head in the sand and you think to yourself, well, I'm 30, 40, 50,000 pounds in debt. What's another 500? And then, of course, there's the overwhelming and overpowering feelings of guilt and regret after buying the items. So, as I said, it's very similar to any other addiction. And of course, it's treated in the same way as any other addiction. It's treated in the same way as alcohol addiction or substance abuse or gambling. And normally, you would go to a therapist, of course, an addiction therapist, not just any therapist, but somebody who specializes in addiction. And they would probably use something like CBT or DBT or ERP. So if you do think that you have a luxury brand addiction and any of this sounds familiar, you need to get help because it won't go away on its own. So I hope that helps. I'll see you in the next video.